Thank you very much for the opportunity to say a few words about the implementation roadmap for from the Scaled Agile framework. So I'm going to firstly share the, make sure that, okay. Can everyone see my screen, please? Just a quick nod. Yeah.
Yeah, so we can see your screen.
Brilliant. Okay, good. So let's make a start because we only have half an hour or so. Actually, this implementation roadmap is content that's usually covered over 2 days. So you can imagine, and we're trying to crush it into half an hour. So this diagram is the high-level steps of activities that Scaled Agile have arrived at. This is based on research and working with organizations over the years, and organizations have been able to deliver successful outcomes using these key steps here. Key activities. So it's highly recommended for organizations that are implementing SAFe to follow these steps. It helps to increase the success rate of the transformation delivery. So I'm just going to go over this very kind of at a very high level, and then I have a PowerPoint slide which I'll be going into each step in more detail. But if we just look on the top right-hand side there, so those are the sort of the typical business results that organizations that are using SAFe are achieving. So very attractive numbers, and I'm going to dive into my other slide pack. So just make sure. Okay, so Wale, you can see my implementation PowerPoint.
I can see it clearly.
Yeah, super, great. Okay, so let's talk through these 12 steps. So this is like the journey, if you like. So what I've done is that I've just put together just a single slide, which is highlighting these 12 steps from the previous diagram. Hopefully, it will make it easier for for all of us to get a good enough understanding of what the 12 steps involve. So basically, we have a number of stages. There's 4 stages here. This is the first stage. This is building a guiding coalition. So this is the stage where, as part of the framework, we're making sure that we have all the necessary drivers and the key stakeholders on board, to help us to get embrace this transformation across the whole organization. So this is the first stage. So this stage involves, this is the first step, reaching the tipping point. So the tipping point is much like where we are today, with COVID-19. A lot of organizations are finding that their business models need to be revisited because it's very difficult to deliver business results in the current circumstances. So we have to find a way of adapting and in changing how we do business. So that's an example there of a tipping point. So there has to be like a pressing need for change. And there's 2 types essentially, in terms of the need. There's either a burning platform, what we call a burning platform, or visionary leadership. So a burning platform is when the situation is really critical and that we have no choice but to do something different, right, about our business. Whereas visionary leadership is about looking into the future and seeing where the market is going and trying to anticipate where we want to be, in the medium to long term, and then we're changing our business model accordingly. So this is the really first step, establishing a vision for change, what the purpose is, the getting the team motivated and getting this alignment across the whole organization. And so what I would also like to add is that the burning platform is the most powerful way of introducing SAFe into your organization, because it's a situation that we cannot avoid and we have to do something different. So it's usually a good way to get SAFe into your organization. And then the second step is where we look to train what we call lean agile change agents. So lean agile train agents are basically SPCs, SAFe program consultants who have been trained, been given thorough training. They have a good, thorough understanding of the framework, and of course the expertise to help to bring about change across the whole organization, across the whole enterprise. So we start with developing these key change agents, and these are the change agents that are going to help the whole organization, in terms of training and guidance, with embracing the Scaled Agile framework. So it's what we call a powerful coalition. It's very, very important that we have a team that is really dedicated and enthusiastic about embracing SAFe and encouraging the whole organization to follow suit. So that's the second step. And then the third step is when we train our executives, managers, and leaders. So SAFe recognizes that it's critical that our senior leadership fully understand what this transformation actually entails, because their commitment is very, very, very important. Without senior leadership and management support, it will make it very, very difficult to bring lasting change into the organization. So training our execs and business leaders is a very, very important step as part of this whole transformation. So we want to encourage our leaders to learn about the Lean Agile mindset and the Scaled Agile framework principles, and really gain a thorough understanding of them, so that they can be applying that knowledge into all their decision making. They have a huge influence in helping to ensure that the transformation is a success in the organization. And then we have the fourth step, which is to create a Lean Agile Center of Excellence. So this is pretty much like an Agile Center of Excellence, right? And this is a group, a team that is made up of Scaled Agile program consultants and members of the teams, the organization, ideally very, very influential members of the organization in senior roles even. So they have the clout to be able to encourage the teams across the organization to embrace the new thinking and the new ways of working. So this team usually would be made up of maybe consultants. SAFe Scaled Agile has got some partners, so tapping into this resource pool is advisable, and getting really highly skilled consultants on board, and they're working closely with the team within the organization, as a collaboration, to help to bring about change. So it's a typical PMO function. They are communicating the business need, the urgency, the vision, and helping also to develop the implementation plan for this transformation that we're embarking on, and coming up with some sort of transformation backlog. What activities do we need to cover as we go through this transformation? And in going on into the actual delivery phase, they would be supporting with the key workshops like the PI planning events and a program increment planning event, which I'll mention shortly. Another sort of major, workshop, inspect and adapt. There's quite a number of them. Okay, as part of the framework. So that's the first stage there, the building a guiding coalition. And then the second stage is designing the implementation. Okay, so this is when we move into step 5. So identify value streams and art. So art is Agile Release Train. Basically, it's a larger group of the Agile team made up of about 150 members. And they are helping collectively to deliver value. So in agility, we focus on value delivery, right? So we in Scaled Agile, we call this value stream. So the whole team will be focusing on delivering a particular value. So an example could be a new e-commerce, a new website that has e-commerce functionality as part of it. That's probably typical of what we see today because of COVID-19. So we're seeing a lot of digital functionality, and so businesses are sort of adapting to the needs of the market today. So that could be an example of a value stream. We want to bring e-commerce, a fully fledged e-commerce functionality into our website. And the art is the large team that is going to work together to deliver this value. Okay, so that's step 5. So step 6 is where we look at creating the implementation plan. So this is where the Lean Agile Center of Excellence team come in to support with, so what could the delivery of this e-commerce functionality look like, in our own organizational context? What is the formation of the team, and who's going to be playing the different roles as part of the delivery. It's important here to mention that in agility, of course, we look at we don't have to have like a detailed plan, right, at the outset. We just plan as much as we can, and we do our deliveries in smaller chunks, if you like. So no need to overplan, but just focus on what we can do, at the earliest. So basically, this is where we're looking at the strategies. What will our employment, with our new ways of working and everything, how would that look like for us? And the key success factors here would be leadership support, certainly, and ensuring that the teams are all collaborating together. Okay, and then of course this is the next step 7: prepare for art launch, prepare for Agile Release Train launch. So this is where we're embarking on training all our teams, and I will cover the training piece in the next part. But training is very, very critical. Without training our teams, will make it very, very difficult to deliver positive results. Okay, and this is looking at training the actual teams doing the development work. And then we go on to actually execution, which is the delivering the value that we agreed as a collective to deliver. And then we come to implementing Agile Release Train, Solution Train, and Lean Agile Portfolio. So this is where we're going beyond the actual single Agile Release Train, which is up to 125 people. We've now delivered the first value with this Agile Release Train. The outcome was a success. So now we continue to build another Agile Release Train, another large team, to embark on delivering another piece of value. What is the next big thing that we want to focus on? So this larger team is now supporting with a newer set of value streams. Okay, and this is what we mean by extending to the portfolio here. So Scaled Agile has got a top tier configuration called the portfolio configuration, and this is looking at the whole large-scale delivery from an exec perspective, where all these sort of key decisions are made in terms of strategy formulation and budgetary allocations, etc. So all those decisions are made in that portfolio configuration. Of course, we don't have the time to go through that in depth, but that's quite a comprehensive area. And then the last step is really sustaining and improving. So, when we have gone through these successful stages of delivering value, the most important part is for us to maintain this and maintain the same thinking, the same way of working. I'm sure some of us know too well organizations that have embarked on transformational change. They start and then they somehow give up halfway, right? They're not able to keep the new ways of working consistent, and that's very, very important. So Scale Agile, recognizing that, and we're saying that we are continuously improving with how we are working and striving to become better and better over time. So that's relentless innovation. Okay, so that's a very high level there of the implementation roadmap. I'm just going to touch on how are we doing for time, Wally?
Yeah, William. Sorry, Cyril. You said what?
Yeah. Good. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't hear that well, Cyril.
No, I was asking how we're doing for time. But I think we're doing okay.
We're still on track.
Yes, I think we're okay. Good. Okay. So I would just like to just talk over the training aspects, because that's very, very, very important. This is training, unfortunately, is an area that a lot of organizations tend to undermine and don't put in enough investment, into training. But it really is a key success factor in investing in training for all the teams. So you can see the diamond boxes. Those are all the trainings there. If we start from here, this is the Scaled Agilist training, and this is the ones that we are delivering to our management, executives, and leaders. And it's the same thing with this is the new Safe for Government certification that Scale Agile have introduced in the last version, and this is bringing government projects and programs into the agility space. Okay, so of course SBC is the highest certification amongst the certifications for with Scale Agile, and this is the team that is going to be supporting with spearheading the whole transformation journey. So Scale Agile makes mention of the partner network, which is quite useful to tap into. And then at the bottom, we have the Lean Agile Center of Excellence. So we're saying that it's good to, it's highly recommended that we have an Agile PMO in place that is supporting with the transformation, as I mentioned before. And then we have the Leading Safe training. This is the most popular safe training, targeting decision makers, essentially. And then we have the Lean Portfolio Management. And this is what I mentioned before, focusing on strategy, formulation, and then the funding aspects of our value streams. Yeah. So then we move on to here. We can see this stretch here, prepare for art launch. So this is where, again, we're providing training to all our key stakeholders across the business. Okay, so this is not just an IT kind of focus, but across all the different areas of the organization. So marketing, finance, all the different areas that could be in a position to contribute towards the transformation. And then we have product owners and product managers, and then Scrum Masters. And very recently, we have Safer Architects. So these are the key kind of roles there that are, having this kind of high level view and making sure that they have all the necessary knowledge and skills, to support the teams, right? So we have Safe for Teams here. This is the delivery teams, if you like, and again, Safe for Teams is not that popular, but it should be really, because it's important that the delivery teams are also fully understanding of the new ways of working, the new ways of thinking, etc. So after we've done all the training here, we then move into what we call the PI planning. This is the program increment planning, where the whole team, the Agile release train, 125 odd team members, come together and plan for what we're going to be looking to deliver, how we're going to deliver this piece of value, this value stream, over the next quarter. Okay, so that's the execution part right there. So we make mention here of safe DevOps, which is another key part of the delivery process. Making sure that we have the right balance between development and operations. That's why it's called DevOps. So DevOps is really a mindset, right? It's bringing both camps together to work as a collective. And then we also have a training there, Agile Software Engineering, which is giving a more detailed look on how teams can apply some practices as part of their value delivery. Okay. And then, of course, we have the SPC here. So we're saying that as we bring in more Agile release trains into the organization, then we want to bring in some more SPCs to support with the growing team. Okay, and then we also talking about the lean portfolio management here. So as we're growing into a larger team, we could then be looking at leveraging the portfolio configuration so we can better manage our funding and making sure that our strategy is all in order. And then, so the last step here is accelerate. This is what I depicted in my slide. And this is ensuring that we are maintaining this way of working. And our release train engineer, who is like a glorified Scrum Master or a program manager in traditional speak, the release train engineer is the coach for the Agile release train, the larger team. And so in their role, they are helping the team to continue with this new way of working, and he or her is getting support from an advanced Scrum Master, which is like a deputy program manager, if you like, in helping to ensure that is happening. So that's a very quick a very, very quick summary of what the implementation roadmap is about. And what I would like to say as well is that I think in the coming webinars, we might choose to touch on some of these topics in a bit more detail, because I've just covered a very, very high level aspects of it. So I hope this is a good enough introduction anyway. Good. So any questions, please?
So, okay, so Cyril.
Yeah.
I think I'll kickstart the question. My question would be, from your experience, what would be the most difficult aspect of implementing the roadmap?
Okay, that's a very, very good question, actually, and it's also very, very valid. The most difficult, okay, so what most organizations have said actually is that bringing safe into their organization has been very, very, very challenging. It's not easy, and the most challenging areas that they have found is changing mindsets. Right? You would think that it's quite straightforward, but getting people to embrace new thinking and display new behaviors is a very, very challenging area. I think the adopting the framework practices is generally quite straightforward, but changing behaviors is not quite so straightforward. You know, as you can imagine, we have managers who have been trained to manage their teams in a particular way, and agility is somewhat, you know, contradicting what they have already learned. So it can make it challenging to change thinking and behaviors. So I would say that's probably the most challenging area. Yeah.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you, Cyril. So if you have any question, you can just unmute your mic and Cyril will be here to answer it.
Yes.
Hi, good afternoon. Adore here. Thank you for that
fantastic
presentation.
Thank you.
SAFe is a very interesting way of doing things, very new to a lot of environments. I'm particularly concerned or interested in further information about the portfolio, how you have, or what information you have about managing the portfolio, because traditionally we have project managers, we have a PMO analyst team, which within SAFe and Agile, everybody's like, go to town, we don't need you. So what exactly is the essence? And of course, there's also this concept of Scrum Masters almost not being project managers, but now being expected to do those tasks.
Yes.
What should be happening within an effective portfolio, please?
Break
that down.
Yeah. What? Sorry, I forgot the name. Sorry.
Adore. So I'm from a PM background. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, Adore. Yeah. No, very, very valid question. The portfolio area, in summary, is responsible for ensuring that the organization is focusing on value delivery, right, and nothing else. And the value that we are delivering is tied to our strategic objectives as an organization. So, you know, we start with being very clear on what our strategic objectives are as an organization. And that we're aligned on it, because you'd be surprised. I mean, there's, you know, a worryingly large number of organizations where if you ask two different executives what the strategy is for their organization, you may very well get two different answers. So alignment on our strategy is very, very key. So we're all we've got the same vision and we're heading the same direction. Then at the back of that would determine what we want our value streams, in this case. We want our value streams to be. Give an example. I like to use this example that I gave earlier in the advent of COVID-19. As a business, we have traditionally been selling our products in our stores. Okay, but now we find that with all the restrictions, it makes it somewhat difficult, right, to get our customers to buy our products. So we have to go online. So our strategy could be that we want to have an online presence, right? And so now then the question comes, okay, what does this online presence mean for us? What exactly do we need to do? We need to implement an e-commerce strategy, which will be hopefully to the same standards as that of Amazon.
No pressure.
Yeah, exactly, right. But yeah, to the best possible standards, so that we can really remain competitive in the marketplace. So everything that we do is aligned with this value stream that we have collectively agreed on, and nothing else. And that's the focus that all the team want to be aligned on, to understand exactly what we are doing, and that everything that we are doing is linked with that value stream. So does that help to answer the first part? I think that's the first part of your question. The second part was around Scrum Masters. And yeah, the Scrum Master role has changed a lot from a typical project manager role. Firstly, the Scrum Master role is more like a coach, as opposed to someone who dictates what the team should be doing. So that's a big change there from a management perspective. a lot of managers have been taught that traditional way of deciding on what the team does, but that, with agility, that somewhat changes, where more autonomy is given to the teams, making sure that they're adequately skilled, and leaving them to make the right judgment calls, at their level, and the Scrum Masters helping them through that process, and through following the Scrum ways of working as well. So does that answer your question?
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Helps clarify
Great.
a lot more. Just last one, please. Are there any particular artifacts that you find should be included within the portfolio?
Yeah, there's various, actually. There's a canvas, portfolio canvas, that can be used. So I mean, Scaled Agile is a very, very comprehensive framework. In some way, there's a lot of information that comes with it, along with toolkits for SBCs. And within the toolkit, there's a lot of, quite a number of documents and slides, etc., that gives guidance on the recommended steps to cover each of the areas here. So there's a toolkit for the value stream part, working with management to identify what the value stream wants to look like, and then the team formation as well. So there's toolkits actually for quite a number of the different steps that gives, and it's all on the website. There's a lot of information on the Scaled Agile website. So I really encourage you to check out the website. Very comprehensive. To some degree, you don't have to come on the course. You can get a lot of knowledge on the website. But of course, in order to become certified, you do have to come on the course to demonstrate that, yes, you have the knowledge. So yeah, there's a wealth of information as well on the website.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. Okay. Any more questions? Before we close?
Okay. Okay, so in case there is no more question, is there any other question, please? Okay.
So I mean, just a quick one, Wale. As I mentioned earlier, I think we would be looking, William would probably be interested in seeing whether we could explore some of the topics within the implementation roadmap in a bit more detail. So I'm sure a conversation will be had about that, and to see which areas that would be of most interest to you all. And we may very well do that in the future. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Cyril. Thank you for sharing your insight on the implementation roadmap. Personally,
my pleasure.
I have loads of questions which I would have to contact you for.
Okay.
I think time is not on our side, actually.
No problem. No problem.
To all of you who joined, thank you very much.
Do you mind if I ask this question, please?
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, my name is Lola. I just want to ask, you mentioned that it's difficult changing the people mindsets, having been used to a particular set of way of doing things. Yes. So what can an organization do in order to actually make that change process work within the organization?
Yes, that's very good. So now Lola, you're sort of moving into the psychology space, right? How can we get our people to behave differently from how they have been behaving in the past? We as human beings, we get very used to doing things in a particular way, and we have difficulty changing that, right? Especially if we've been doing it for a very long time. For those of us that can remember as far back as when we were in our mother's womb, right? Not that I'm sure many of us can, but before we were born, we were very, very comfortable inside our mother's womb, and then when we came back, it was all screaming, and we are not very happy at all. And then we are given to our mothers, and our mothers holding us, and then the crying is stopping, right? Because then we're thinking, oh, okay, maybe it's not so bad after all. I can live with this, right? So it's a very, very similar kind of journey, really, where we use different techniques to try and encourage teams to embrace new thinking. And certainly one of them is by leaders leading by example. This is really probably the top one, the most powerful one, is if teams are seeing their leaders behaving in a particular way, then it kind of encourages them to to follow suit. And having all sorts of different incentives, different initiatives, encouraging people to do things in a particular way, rewarding. So there's all those ways of trying to bring more visibility to how, what good looks like, So we talked about the first journey, the first Agile release train. When they deliver successfully, for instance, that's a good one to showcase to the whole organization. This is what this team, the first team, have done. They have been able to deliver this successful outcome. And that alone is also a form of encouragement for the whole organization to embrace this new way of thinking and working. Yeah?
Yes, thank you for that.
You're welcome, Lola.
All right, so we've already run out of time. Thank you very much, Cyril. Thank you all for joining. Our next session is on Thursday with Dr. Shelley Thompson on effective communication. We look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Wale, and thank you all, and have a great day.
You too. Thank you, everyone.